Page 9, Etude in A minor. This is interesting because it has two time signatures, and they do this sometimes. It simply means it's going back and forth between the two time signatures. Otherwise, they would have to print the time signatures in the front of every measure where it changed. Here, it's like changing every measure. So instead of that, they just put both time signatures at the beginning, and you know you're in for a treat, or a ride, or whatever. So I'm going to take both hands at the same time because they're only playing one hand at a time. They're just alternating for the most part. And right now, we can forget about the timing and all that. Let's just make sure we get the notes and the fingers working. And it looks to me like they're using 5-1 throughout the piece. They're just using those. Now, if you want to do it that way, that's fine. And then here, and then you got to come down here. And then back up here. And then here. Here, you use 4-1 there if you want to. So you're moving around. I don't like the fingering of using 1-5 every time, but sometimes in an etude, the fingering is part of the etude. So I hesitate changing the fingering in this. Maybe that the idea of moving around is part of what you're supposed to be practicing. Because you have to do that sometimes, so why not? Don't worry about what it sounds like. Don't get distracted there. Just focus on one. Either it's a 1-2-3 or a 1-2. But it's all eighth notes. All we want to do is try and get these worked out where you got. Hesitate a lot, that's okay. Coming down. So forth. Once you kind of get a handle on that, then see if you can put in a regular beat. The eighth notes need to be steady. An eighth note gets a count. Whether you're counting 3-8 or 2-8 doesn't matter. So you 1-2-3-1-2, 1-2-3-1-2, 1-2-3-1-2. But just think eighth notes. 1-2-3-1-2. Work out the whole thing where it's steady. You don't have to go that fast. Whatever speed works for you, so it's steady. Articulation-wise, you see the staccato's the first couple of measures, and then there's a simile. It means the whole thing is just keep doing that, simile. The simile applies to where it is. So since the simile is in between it, it either applies to the dynamics, which could, or the articulation, or both. Just keep doing what you're doing. So in this case, it's probably both. I mean, I don't need a simile for the dynamics, because you just keep with a dynamic until they give you a new dynamic. So it's probably more the articulation. So just bump, 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 bump. Keep it. You don't have time to use a lot of big muscles here. You're going to have to kind of keep it down here. Like so. All staccato. And you can add the dynamics. It's loud, both hands here. Whatever you think loud is. Not really loud, just loud. So the third line is MF. You come down just a little bit up to moderately loud, whatever that is. It's just a little softer than you were. And then next to the last line at the end there, you get a poco al poco dim. Little by little gets softer. Well, how much softer? We don't know, but just a little by little. Take your time getting softer is what that's. Maybe go down to soft, but don't get down to soft until that last line, second measure. And then they have an F subito. F means loud. Subito means suddenly, all of a sudden. So it's like you're soft, and then all of a sudden you're loud. And at the end, by the way, the left hand's tied. All those notes are down. It's a fermata. Hang on to it a little longer and let it die away a little bit. All you're doing is waking people up, I guess. I'm not sure. Speed-wise, vivace is very fast. Now, you're fast. It's got to be accurate first. Prestissimo or presto is faster than this, so it's not really as fast as you can play unless you can't play very fast. But keep it solid. It's the 192. This is the problem with using a metronome. When you get to this fast and your metronome's going that fast, it's hard to follow it. So normally we would split it up and let the metronome represent quarter notes or half notes or something. The problem here is it's in 3/8 and 2/8, so it's always changing. So we're stuck with leaving the metronome on eighth notes. Well, you get a speed in your mind. It's about as fast as I've been just demonstrating, I think. You don't slow down at the end. You just give it an arrow. I would like to play this very slowly with you to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do dynamics, and we are going to go very slow. So I'm going to give us 3 counts since the first measure has 3 beats in it. Now let's try it together. 1, ready, go. Hold, 2,